Hello, my name is Mark with Scared Shiftless, and what we have here is a 1957 Chevy with a 350 engine, and we're going to install an aftermarket intake, and I'm going to show you the best way to do this and have no oil leaks afterward. The small block engine is the same for like the 265, the 283s, the 305, the 307s, and most of the big blocks also are going to be the same procedure to create no oil leaks. You can also apply this method on your Oldsmobile, your Fords, and just pretty much any engine. So you know what? We're going to get started here. There's going to be a few things that we're going to take off. We're going to take off the carburetor, the fuel lines, and some other things. When we get to the distributor, I'll see you again. We removed our carburetor. We removed our cap. What we want to do is we want to reference our distributor before we pull it out. We want to take the front here, mark on the distributor. We have a screw here on our rotor. We're going to reference that, right like that. There's no need to mark it from the distributor base to the intake. We're getting rid of the intake. That would be a waste of our time. We're not going to do that. Now the key thing is next. When we remove this, we're going to take off our distributor mounting plate. We're going to pull up on our rotor and we're going to turn it counterclockwise as we pull the distributor up. This is what's going to happen, is that's going to let us take that distributor drive gear and move it also with it. So when we go to place that back in there, it's going to be easy. We're not going to have to get a screwdriver in there and fight that thing. So let's go ahead, do that next. So let's go ahead. We're going to turn our rotor counterclockwise. Slowly bring this up. By turning it, it actually helps us bring it up. There it is, just like that. We're just going to get that out of there. Now let's remove that intake. You know how to do that. Just nuts, bolts, whatever you have to do, yank it off. So before we get cleaning, what we want to do is we want to take some old newspaper, wad it up. We're going to put it in the intake ports and our water jackets. What we're going to do is to remove those, what we're going to do is we're going to take a shop vac and just suck them babies out of there. That's going to get the dirt, our adhesives that were on there, and any loose debris. What we want to do is we want to take a towel, rags, or something like that. We're going to lay it down on the intake valley area. That's where all the push rods and your lifters are at. What's really good is if you can get your wife's bath towel. They're really nice and soft and everything. She'll appreciate this. She'll be part of your project. Also, you know what? A good stiff putty knife works well. Nooks and crannies, you can use a razor blade. And here, if you don't hear anything else, do not use a Scotch-Brite type pad. One little teeny piece of fiber that gets caught in the oil valley of these can tear up an engine in less than 100 miles and destroy your engine. So keep that in mind when you see this laying around. They're really nice. Don't do it. So let me show you what we did here. You want to make sure that these corners are clean. You don't want to dig into the gasket though, the head gasket. Get these corners clean, the surface clean. You can use some carburetor cleaner or like a solvent, WD-40. Make sure all of our surface areas are clean. And then we're going to get it ready to install our intake manifold. I'll show you how to set the gaskets, and I'm going to show you the big trick to have no oil leaks when you're finished. The next thing that we're going to want to do is take a small rag with lacquer thinner or acetone on it and wipe our surface clean and dry. Make sure all the nooks and crannies are done, our back leading edge. We want to get this as clean as possible. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that our gaskets actually fit our surface for our intake and head area. So what we're going to do is we're going to take those out and check them. These little rubber ones here, here's the big secret. See these? They come in the kit. Just throw those in the trash. That's your biggest oil leak using them. Now what we can do is we can go back and fit these and make sure that they're the correct ones. These look like the correct ones. So let's get ready to install. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our high temp silicone and we want to lay it right in the corners where the block and the head meet. About an 1/8 inch bead is all it needs. Right there. Now we're going to take a little tiny film and put it around our water jackets, front and rear, our exhaust area. We're going to take our intake gaskets, make sure the correct side is facing the block, lay it up there, make sure the bolt holes line up, push it down, it'll stay there. We're going to go back, catch our water jackets, little thin coat, our exhaust. What we're going to do is we're going to take and run a 1/4 inch bead across our front and rear intake to block area. Nice bead, not all wavy and everything. Get it as nice as you possibly can. This is the most important, to get a nice even seal around that. We're going to let that set up for about 5 minutes and then we're going to set our intake manifold. So what we want to do is we want to take our intake manifold, keep it high, get it into position, and set it down. You don't want to move it a whole lot. There it just dropped. It's absolutely perfect. We're going to go ahead and install our bolts. To stop the oil from coming up the threads, what we're going to do is we're going to put a small bead before we install them on the threads. You want to keep it away from the top area because a lot of the holes go all the way through and the silicone could actually get in the engine and plug up some important oil jackets. So after you do this, you can go ahead and install all your bolts. Okay, we're going to go back and set our distributor in. Our pointer was facing the driver. Our screw was pointing on our black line right here. What we're going to do is we're going to rotate that screw about 3/4 of an inch counterclockwise. We're going to start setting our distributor in. Once we feel it go down, it's just going to drop right in place just like that. Our screw matches our screw, our pointer's facing the driver's side. We have our black mark right here. This doesn't matter where it is. Now we can go back, lock that back in, and then I can show you the proper way to time this vehicle and other GM vehicles with the small block, big block in another video. Let's go ahead and finish this baby up. My name is Mark with Scared Shiftless, SoCal, California, and I want to thank you for watching. Also, have a leakless day. Furthermore, hey, why don't you check out the Papa Dent tool, P-A-P-A Dent, on YouTube. It's a really cool tool. You need to check it out for your classic car and muscle car needs.